Ready to go.
Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, and at this time I will call the meeting to order. Welcome to the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for August 18th, 2022. We are your Board of Zoning Appeals. To my left, Steve Nagy, Mike Beard on the end, and to my right, Bruce Metz, the zoning administrator. Gentlemen, in your packet you should have had a copy of the minutes from last meeting. If you have reviewed them and there is no additions or corrections, I'll ask for a motion to approve at this point.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? So moved. We have a quorum present, so we'll proceed to the public hearing portion of our meeting. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding. All board decisions are based on provisions outlined in the zoning ordinance. The board respectfully requests that all who intend to testify tonight be familiar with the ordinance and limit your testimony to only information relevant to these proceedings as outlined in the ordinance. Any persons intending to testify tonight will be sworn in. For the benefit of those in attendance as well as those watching on Facebook this evening, we request that you step up to the microphone to my left when you're testifying. Tonight we have two different kinds of cases. We have two variances. We have three total. We have two variances and one special exception. Variances being the little tougher one to get, that you have to show practical difficulty and hardship. Special exception is a little bit different animal. We'll deal with that when we get to it. So tonight our first case is please make sure you turn off all your electronic devices at this point too, please. Thank you. At this point, we will hear our first case, which is VR 830, an application submitted by Robert Tross for a variance to allow the construction of a new accessory garage to within 11 feet of the front property line. The property is located at 288 Rock Lodge Road, tax map 50, parcel 267, grid 20, and is zoned Lake Residential 1. Bruce, did we get any letters on in favor or against this proposal?
We got a letter earlier on from the DPU speaking to an existing sewer line that was running through that area. That situation was addressed by the property owner and their agents, and they were going to move that to within 5 feet of the line, which would allow the garage to be 10 feet from the line. So that was accomplished, and that was the only issue with that property.
Okay. So who do we have presenting on behalf? Spires? Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth and testimony that you give in front of this Board of Zoning Appeals?
I do.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Karen Myers, 117 Pinnacle Drive, Swanton, Maryland.
Please proceed.
Thank you. So I got involved with this case when the current owner, at that time he was the contract purchaser, was denied by the County Roads Department to get an entrance onto Rock Lodge Road. And I thought, I don't understand that. There's a lot of entrances on Rock Lodge Road. So I contacted the county roads and asked them to come out and meet me, and I got a call that said, we don't think we really need to come there. And he explained to me that there's some very large trees that inhibit the visibility to have an entrance there, and I acquiesced and said, okay, I get that. So if that had happened, if they had been able to get an entrance onto Rock Lodge Road, I think they would have met all of the setbacks. That was the intention. So then we went to the next step, and my advice all along was, okay, we know we have a 5-foot setback, and there's a required 20-foot setback for the garage from Rock Lodge Road. Let's try to minimize that as much as possible. So we had another site plan, and we were, I don't know, maybe close to 14 feet or 15 feet, something like that, from Rock Lodge Road. Then we got the letter from Diane Roboff from the Department of Public Utilities to say, no, you're going to be too close to the sewer line, and we can't allow that to happen. So then we went back and looked at the whole thing again, and with the help of Bill Spiker, to kind of work it out with them. The existing sewer line can be moved, of course at a cost, but so they look to move the sewer line. It has to be 5 feet from the property line and at least 5 feet from the building. So when you look at the site plan, the building is 10.5 feet from the property line, and that's to give the 5 and 5 plus 6 inches for the actual line. So that's how minute, we've kind of gone through that. So that's how we got to this point. The original garage, I think, was to have been 28 by 30. When we had to rework things, we downsized the garage to be 24 by 30 so as to keep as much buffer as possible between the garage and Rock Lodge Road. So I think you all, I just want to make sure, do you have the site plan that shows that the closest point is 11.9 feet from Rock
we
Lodge
do.
Road? You do, okay, so if you have that, and brought extra copies just in case. Actually, it kind of lines up well with the existing pavement to make this happen. The garage itself, and I think we submitted this before, is basically a basic garage, 10 or 11, 12 roof pitch with a dormer, and along the side there'll be a set of stairs to go up, because they'd like to have a game room in the area, the bonus room above the garage. So, so we've looked at the surveys. We've tried a couple of times to keep the distance as small as possible, but now it doesn't look like we can do this with less than an 11.9 foot distance between the closest point of the garage to Rock Lodge Road. We've made every effort to minimize that. So the standards for approval are, first, not to be contrary to the public interest. We don't believe that there's any issue there with the public interest. It's not interfering or impacting anyone else. Number 2, it has to be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the ordinance, not injurious to or alter the character of the neighborhood, and will not impair views from adjacent property or otherwise be detrimental to the public welfare. Again, we believe that there is no effect there. And as testimony to that, no one has objected to this, any of the neighbors as well. Number 3, it will not permit the establishment within the district of any use that is not permitted. In fact, a detached garage is a permitted use. It is an accessory structure. Those of us who live in Garrett County realize how important garages are come December. And the new owner, Robert Frost, and his wife intend to use it. It's currently a rental home, but they intend to gradually use it more and more for their own family, and that's why they want the garage. And then number 4, that special circumstances or conditions apply to the land or building, and which are such that the strict application of the provisions of this chapter of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of the land. So there are a number of special circumstances here. The property was studied to determine a lot of various possible locations for the construction of a garage. Originally, it was thought that it might be possible to build it on the west side of the property. However, the well is located there, so that interfered with that. In order to locate the garage at least 10 feet from the well, as would be required by the health department, the garage would have to have been situated on the steepest portion of the property, which is certainly not practical and quite difficult. The lot is irregular in shape. You can't build between the house and the lake because there's a conservation easement there that says that nothing can be built in that area, and it would be impractical to try to build below the house anyway. If you were to try to make any other adjustments to bring it closer to the house, then you're going to have to rebuild the landing, the stairs, the entrance, everything that is there to get into the house, and right now it kind of works. It is a steep lot, and they've been able to accommodate that. So we do believe that the granting of this variance is necessary for the reasonable use of the land, and that the variance of 8.1 feet, which is the difference between 20 feet and 11.9, is the minimum that will accomplish this purpose. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else to speak in favor? Anybody in opposition? Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Myers?
I don't know.
You know, I guess the hardest thing I see here is the hardship. And we were down there today, looked at it. You downside the garage to 24 feet from what it was. Just step it off roughly. If you would move it down to where you wouldn't need our variance, I would put it about the second step down off of the elevation that you have here. Just
The second step into
you
the,
know, they have a set of steps right off the
yeah, they have a
existing
set of stairs,
driveway.
so
to
that
have-
would involve, you know, more retaining walls and more disturbance to the area. It is a little bit steep there,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
so,
no, we were there.
yeah. And luckily it got marked. I was out there on
Yeah.
Monday or Tuesday and said, oh, I think you better get there.
Right. Yeah, that's always helpful. I agree with everything you say. You've said my hang up is, in addition to everything that you've said, and you're right in everything you've stated, we're supposed to hand these variances out sparingly is what we've been told to do, and I'm having trouble seeing. Tell me again why, other than I understand we'd have to redo a little bit of the steps. There's a retaining wall there that's failing already that needs to be redone, a treated wood retaining wall. And it looks like you would probably lose one more tree, although you might save the other tree if you wanted to, that you're going to have to take down now. So I guess that's my hang up now. It looks like you have an option where you wouldn't need a variance. Tell me again why you don't think it should move down towards the shed and towards the entrance again.
Well, I met with the excavator, you know, in terms of looking at the whole project, and that was
Mhm.
Bill Spiker. And basically this was his recommendation in terms of taking care of having it the least amount of disturbance to the lot and changes. I think when you get down into that walkway, it gets a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And they did try, I mean, we have had the issue of no permit to be issued from the county roads, then the issue with Department of Public Utilities. So when we were able to go back, when we thought we could go back to the 5 foot, we were only gonna ask for a couple feet of variance. And then DPU.
Then you need for that sewer line to go through there, yeah.
Yeah. When we had to move it across, when we had to move it away from the adjacent property line, then we had all sorts of difficulties, and that's where I said, well, I recommend that you at least, you know, drop the size of this down from 28 wide to 24, because that brought it into a more reasonable, you know, you still had some decent buffer there.
And I think 24 is the minimal usable width for a garage.
I had a garage one time that was 22, but it wasn't that good.
Right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
Okay. Then we will close the public portion of testimony on that case. You want to hear all 3 cases first this evening?
Yeah, let's do it first.
Do it that way? Okay. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our next case, which is VR 832, an application submitted by Mark and Sandra Carpenter for a variance to allow the construction of a residential addition to within 22 feet of the rear property line. The property is located at 234 Doc Thompson Road, tax map 67, parcel 219, 2-220, grid 10, and is zoned lake residential. Bruce, we have any correspondence on that?
We do not.
We do not. Okay, who will be speaking for this case tonight?
Can we team up?
Sure. Each of you solemnly swear to the affirm to tell the truth in this testimony that you're about to give in front of the Deep Creek Watershed Board of Zoning Appeals.
We do.
State your name and address for the record, please.
Sandra and Mark Carpenter, 234 Doc Thompson Road, Swanton, Maryland.
Okay, Sandra and Mark, thanks for coming. Go ahead and tell us what you want to tell us.
Okay, we are in need of a roof, and our structure, our home is an orange-shaped roof, and when we went to look at having it replaced, we discovered that it was pushing on the back wall, and that the wall is actually moving. So the resolution to that was to take an existing patio that is in the, behind the back wall, and put a roof over it to brace against the wall to push it back in. And also put in an internal wall that would extend the one bedroom that's in the home out onto that same patio to again give more support structure to that wall internally. So really our purpose here is just to put a roof over an existing patio and put one internal wall and one partial wall that's about 11 feet. I believe on the drawing, you have the drawing that,
We have the site plan.
yeah. So on the site plan, I did sketch in and give you actual measurements in terms of where that bedroom wall would come out. It's kind of dotted line.
That's the
there.
dash line there, I see.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
In doing that though, I mean, the patio is, we were told that we needed a 40-foot easement or back.
Setback. Mhm.
Step back against the property line. And the patio is on one side 22 3/4 feet from that place. So we need a variance of about 18 1/4 feet to allow that structure, which we are told makes it living space and needs to abide by that 40.
So you put a roof over it.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
So in terms of detriment to the community, we're on actually a back lot, which is mostly, like our neighbors are mostly garages besides us. It's not a home. So, and it is behind the home, and behind us is just farmland that is basically like a forest. So in terms of it having any detriment to any of our neighbors, it will not. But it is definitely a concern for us because we're trying to intact the house. So without the variance and the ability to brace that wall, we're going to be challenged to keep the existing structure together.
You feel that this request is in harmony with the neighborhood?
Yes.
It's not going to encroach on anybody's reasonable use of their land. Gentlemen, any questions for him?
Well, of course, we were there today and we saw it off your existing patio you have. One thing I think is your neighbors on either side, their garages extend way past your level that's down there too. We noticed that at the same time on there, so. I don't have anything else. Just
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Anybody else to speak in favor of this application? Anybody to speak in opposition? All right, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for your consideration.
Good. All right, our next case is a little different. It's a special exception. And a special exception is basically a use that is, for all intents and purposes, permitted in the zoning district, but it falls in a special exception category. It gives us a chance as a board to look at each one individually and make sure that it's in line with the spirit of the ordinance, and gives us a chance to impose any kind of special conditions or anything like that. So this is a little different, little different thing to meet. So at this time, we'll start our third case, which is Special Exception 500, an application submitted by Tyler Ashby to allow the construction of a private indoor boat storage building in the rural recess zone. The property is located in the 4000 block of Glendale Road, tax map 59, parcel 579. Bruce, we have
We do not.
any correspondence? Nothing? Okay,
I've spoken with some neighbors.
everybody's good. Mr. Gregory, since you're an attorney, I don't believe we need to swear you in, so please proceed.
Thank you. So this is actually a property that is owned and called in by Tyler Ashby, William Ashby, and Linda Ashby. They're all here consenting to what Tyler, I think, is seeking a special exception. So I believe if building prices weren't what they are right now, I don't know that we'd be here, because I think Tyler would first construct the home and then the boat storage building. But I believe he intends to wait now, probably another year to begin construction of the house and the permitting of that. And we have provided a proposed site plan. Certainly if the board believes that it's more appropriate that the building be in some other location, Mr. Ashby isn't dead set on anything here. That's just where he thought it would work best. So the boat storage building, the requested size is 48 feet by 56 feet as identified in the letter. This would allow Mr. Ashby to park his boat and his truck attached to it within the building, which is about 52 feet. Certainly he wouldn't fit 48 feet wide, but I think the building's gonna look kind of stupid if it's as narrow as the boat, but 50-some feet long. Like I said, he does intend to build a house there and live there in the near future. This would be a project he would be able to start now, considering the building prices. The building, as indicated in the letter, would have 3 garage doors, finished with high-quality steel. It would be two-tone tan and dark green is what he is proposing. I don't know if you all were down to this site. Talking to Tyler, I don't know that it would really be all that visible from the road. There is already a permitted entrance onto the property. So looking at the chapter 157 zoning ordinance, I believe what he's requesting is suitable for the property, certainly, and designed to be in harmony and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. This is going to be an attractive building. It's certainly not going to be an eyesore. Excuse me. It's also suitable in terms of the effects on road traffic and has safe and adequate access to the property. Like I said, there's already a permitted entrance, and it's suitable, like I said, for the property in question. I think that this is certainly going to increase the likelihood that he does build a house down there if he's already got the building there. So I think that that's going to happen shortly. Thank you.
Thanks. Gentlemen, anybody have any questions for Mr. Gregory?
No.
Is this a framed building or a pole building, or?
I think it would be stick built off a pad, right? Pole building?
Pole building?
Concrete. So steel to the, I guess, up to a chair rail and then steel above it.
Everything you said, I agree with everything you said. It's 65 feet off the road. I mean, you're not even gonna know it's there unless he cuts every single tree down off the property, which I doubt he'll do. So, anybody else to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody to speak in opposition? Easy enough. We'll close, at this point, we'll close the public testimony portion of our meeting and go into deliberation. You're welcome to stay and listen. And we have up to 10 days to make our decision. A pretty good chance we'll make our decisions this evening. If somebody doesn't like our decision, I believe they have 30 days to appeal. So beware of that. To you applicants that you could move forward, you do have a 30-day window that you are open to appeal. So, thank you. Let's go backwards. Special exception 500.
I'll make it real simple. I'll make to approve it. Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
I'll make it unanimous. So. SC 500 is approved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
C500. Yes. Yes. Favor.
Thank you.
Okay, next VR 832, Mark and Sandra Carpenter over on Doc Thompson.
Make it simple, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
any conditions, anything like that? I think it's a good use.
No, the other garages, like I stated, are further back, further back there. I don't see any.
I think it's a minimal request and a good use of a variance, so I'll make it unanimous. So, you're approved.
You're approved.
All right, thank you for coming in and doing things the right way. Good luck with your addition.
Thank you.
What are the mark up there, guys?
I'm saying it's
With other
shallow.
physical conditions?
I'm saying it's shallow,
I have to get you guys one more copy of this.
Shallow?
because it's not very deep, you know, and that's,
All right, let's go shallow then.
I think it's sparingly,
Well, like I said, the other buildings are there or further away, further back. I have no idea where the property lines are,
Yeah.
either, but for line of sight.
it's way less intrusive than anything to the right or left of them. I mean,
Like I said, everything on that back side's garages.
okay. Pass it down to him. So now VR 830. Thinking about this a little bit more, I guess it's going to, moving it down closer to the house, it's going to solve the problem at the road. Are we creating more of a problem? I mean, it's going to, I see looking at their drawing, I mean, it does line up with the existing apron of the driveway. That being said, I still just get hung up on that I think they can do it without a variance.
I'm the same. I
You
think
s-
it can be done without a variance. Karen has had to jump through a bunch of loopholes here, but that's just part of the program anyhow.
Yeah.
You know, and they're gonna be changing the high pressure line, sounds like anyhow, to the septic
Mhm.
to get that variance in, which means they're disturbing that area up through there anyhow.
That's true.
On there, so I don't see why it can't be moved in.
Mhm.
On there, as you see, we were there today, we saw what the condition is of the ties and everything like that.
Mhm.
I didn't see that it was any steeper where they propose it as opposed to where we say they can move it to. And they're probably gonna disturb all of that anyway, because I assume it's gonna have a pretty deep foundation. I mean, a two-car garage.
That's the way I see it. I mean, either where they build it right where they want to, or where we're saying they have an option, they're still going to have to. They're going to have 4 feet of
And,
fill.
you know, no, we do this all the time. There's a lot of fill in there.
Yeah.
And when he starts digging, all that fill has to come out to get down to solid.
Yeah.
I mean, I kinda hope he does it down to
I
solid.
mean, I don't see that small bit of what was like 5 feet that was.
Yeah, 5 or 6 feet left.
It's not
I'm
that.
not, you know, I like to give it to him, at the same time, I think this time there's other options.
It's right out there on the road, and I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that one.
So I am too. I just think, you know, there's other ways of going about it on there. Good.
I mean, 24 is to me, the minimum width of a usable garage. Now, you know, and the length is not hurting them because they're okay that way. But if they
Now,
wanted to
even
pull
if
it,
she, you know, we can't tell things like this, but even if she would move it down to the footers where the ties are now,
Mhm.
it would gain more
Yeah.
on there.
Well, what I was getting at is if the stairs is the big determining factor, which I don't think that's a big issue in the big scheme of things, but if they decide that's a big factor, they could shorten the garage up from the 30 and get it back away from them steps a
Right.
little bit, you know what I mean? So I
That's
hate
not
to
a
do that.
hardship though.
Huh?
That's not a
That's not a
hardship.
hardship, right?
And that's tonight, now we asked, you asked for the second time, the hardship, the hardship was, that's what we wanted.
Mhm.
Is what I kinda got out of it.
Well, they have nowhere else on the lot. I mean, they have nowhere else on the lot in that area to build it, but I think they could build it in that area without a variance.
Yeah, I do too.
So, still hear a motion?
I'll move to deny the variance.
I'll second it.
I'll make it unanimous. I'll put the last ones on your desk down there.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Which ones we want to circle up here, guys? What you guys circle?
No, just no. is
No on
I
all
did.
of them?
Yeah.
It's nice to fill these out when I have my glasses on.
Just want to hit that now at the bottom.
Oh, no, sorry. So the third item tonight is action on docketed cases. You all, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but you know that SE 499 was approved. VR 430 was postponed to tonight, which we unfortunately just denied. 831, I believe, was approved. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Any old business to address, gentlemen? Any new business to address? Well, our next meeting will be September 15th, 2022 at 7 o'clock. And if there's no other business at this point, I will adjourn our meeting. Everybody good?
Sounds good.
Thanks.